I love home inspections is because the client can go in, they can look at the whole house, and they follow the home inspector. That's my first tip. Follow the home inspector, like obviously 6 feet social distance, but he's going to be talking. When people, like, for example, you're walking by and there's a construction crew going on, they might be mumbling, they might be singing to themselves. But if you were following that person all day long, and a home inspector is probably not singing to himself because he's only there for a couple hours, but he's talking about, oh, this is good, this is bad, oh, needs repair, right? And really, that's the lingo of the home inspection per se. A typical home inspection, the home inspector arrives, he goes around the exterior of the house, he checks the roof, he checks if there's any cracks in the foundation. He talks about the grading. So is the house too flat? Maybe it should be it should be flat and on an angle like this, but there should be like some stones here to take the water away. He looks at all the exterior, then he goes inside, he examines the electrical, the plumbing, anything like loose faucets, he tests out all the appliances. And then at the end of the report, at the end of the home inspection, should summarize what he found in the house, what he thinks, and then also he'll give you a written report. Or a second tip at this point, if you are hiring a home inspector, the first thing I look for is, does that person live close to the area? Because basically, if I was going to buy a 5-year-old house, I don't really think I care that much about a home inspector. A lot of people don't really care because it's basically a newer house. A lot of things you're going to find, maybe like the faucet's a little loose, or maybe some scratches on the wall, and you're going to see that mostly, right? Like if you just go and you test it out, you can see that. Keep in mind that whenever you put an offer, even if you remove the home inspection condition, you should have a clause that all the appliances are in good working order and they can't be replaced. So even if you have a home inspection, it passes, and let's say an appliance breaks the day before closing, the sellers should fix that for you. And you should go back the day before just to make sure. My tip number 3 is that when you go to a home inspection, if you're in the agent, you got to tell your clients, look, we're looking for big, major ticket items. Don't worry about small things like scratch on the wall or a faucet. Look for the big ticket items. And in general, I would have to say that the house should have like major defects. If you think it's a good deal, like you're happy with the price, you're happy with maybe like the location, and you're happy with everything about the house, but it has a few small things, you should not probably walk away from that deal. I'll give you an example, okay? At the beginning of this year, in 2020, I met these guys in Etobicoke, and just by randomly, I think they came to a house that I had for sale. So it was like a lead, and I ended up showing them a few other homes. They ended up buying a home with me their budget was $730,000, and they wanted to buy a home with a basement apartment in Etobicoke in Toronto. So it was like close to the airport area, that like Rexdale area. That's like basically the cheapest area in the city, that maybe you can still afford a home. And back in like February, March, when I was already quite competitive, but before COVID, we did the home inspection, and they, the roof was not new. It's not stated in the MLS that the roof was new. And the home inspector said that there's a chance that eventually the basement will need some like water repair, or you need some waterproofing, right? Now, he didn't say you need it right now. And he didn't say that the roof is destroyed right now. But he said that in the next 2, 3 years, 4 years, these are things you need to think about. In my opinion, why is it a mistake that client backed out of the deal because of that? This is what happens. So the house sold he could have got the house for $725,000, which is in his budget, and it had a basement apartment, exactly what he's looking for. Right now, in November 30th, 2020, that same house is probably worth 50 to maybe that house is selling for $800,000, let's say. So let's say in the next 3-4 years, you needed to change the roof, which is, let's say, $4,000, and you need to do waterproofing. Let's say that's like $6,000. So you need to do $10,000 in repairs. Well, he lost basically $65,000 by not taking the house, minus the $10,000 in repairs. And then now he can't find another house like that because the market went up, and he's gonna have to buy something much worse, or not at all.